If you thought 2018 was going to be the year you were finally going to get something productive done, think again. Welcome to UNILAD Gaming, and today we're going to be counting down our top 10 games to look out for in 2018. Before we get started, it's worth pointing out that the games on this list are, at the time of writing, all but guaranteed for a 2018 release. We'll be staying away from vague release windows, so while we obviously can't wait to play The Last of Us Part 2, let's be honest, that's not coming till 2019 at the earliest. Sorry. Number 10, Far Cry 5. The Far Cry games are always a guaranteed good time, full of explosions, guns, extreme violence, and more explosions. The fifth core entry in the franchise looks to be the most expansive yet, keeping everything we love while removing certain irritating open world conventions such as minimaps and radio towers. Exploration is more encouraged than ever before as players are let loose in the fictional Hope County, Montana, as they recruit resistance fighters to take down a religious militia who have seized control of the area. With a renewed focus on multiplayer action, as well as Boomer, one of the goodest boys in gaming, you'll want to keep your eye on this one when it launches March 27th. Number 9, A Way Out. A Way Out could quite possibly be the most ambitious game of 2018, and that is really saying something in a year of highly ambitious releases. Clearly intended as a screw you to anyone who thinks multiplayer and a deep story-driven experience can't go hand in hand, this EA published adventure can only be played in split screen mode as you and a buddy take on the role of two convicts who must break out of prison and go on the run from the law, because they do not like it when you break out of prison, apparently. Playable through local or online split screen, you'll need to work together to cause distractions, steal keys, and engage in good old-fashioned jailhouse brawls. There's plenty of scope for unique puzzles and gameplay experiences that can't be found anywhere else in 2018. While some gamers might initially turn their noses up at the idea of a narrative-driven game that can't be played in single player, it would be a big mistake to pass on A Way Out when it releases in March. Number 8. Metro Exodus. If you've yet to play a game from the sublime Metro franchise, then you need to drop everything and go correct that ASAP. Although, maybe finish this video first. Set in a post-apocalyptic world, the Metro games offer a masterful blend of FPS action and RPG strategy, with just a dash of survival horror and a deliciously dark and disturbing heart. The future has never looked this bleak. The next installment, Metro Exodus, is set for a 2018 release and by all accounts looks like it could be the best one yet. It's certainly the best looking, with trailers for the game so far showing off horrific monsters and beautifully desolate landscapes. While we don't know much about the game at present, we can expect a blend of linear levels and sandbox environments, as well as a dynamic weather system and environments that change with the seasons as the game's story plays out over the course of a year. We hear a nuclear-ravaged Russia is simply beautiful in the spring. Number 7, Sea of Thieves. It's a simple fact that Rare made some of the best games from your childhood. GoldenEye, Conker's Bad Fur Day, Banjo-Kazooie, so you should be very, very excited for the Xbox exclusive Sea of Thieves, a colourful online adventure in which you and your friends can live out your wildest safe-for-work pirate fantasies. Coming in March, players will be able to form their very own band of merry pirates and take to the high seas, exploring a vast open world and working together to navigate the ocean, complete quests, and earn that sweet, sweet loot. If there's one thing gamers and pirates both love, it is loot. Sea of Thieves takes place in a shared world, so expect to come across fellow pirate crews on your travels. Just be aware that they won't all be friendly and may attempt to wreck your ship and nab your treasure. That is what pirates do, to be fair. While the game looked fairly underwhelming when it was announced way back in 2016, every subsequent trailer and gameplay demo has shown huge improvements, and after loving the beta, we're confident that Sea of Thieves is one to watch in 2018. Number 6, Resident Evil 2 Remake. Why is a remake on this list, I hear you shout? Probably. Well, there are a few reasons you need to be excited for the Resident Evil 2 Remake. Take a seat, or remain seated, and we'll have a chat. For a start, the original Resident Evil 2 is probably the best game in the Resi franchise, one of the finest PlayStation games, and a stellar example of how to do survival horror properly. Of course, the game's control scheme and visuals haven't really aged all that well, which makes Resident Evil 2 a strong candidate for a remake. We hear Capcom is rebuilding the thing from the ground up, which probably means those divisive tank controls will be swapped out to make room for something a little more in line with Resident Evil 4, the second best game in the franchise. Purists will likely scoff at the idea of doing anything to change the original PlayStation masterpiece, but we're just excited to head back to Raccoon City and blast away some zombies. Number 5, Shadow of the Colossus. Yep, it's another remake, but my god, it's the prettiest looking remake we have ever seen. And it's an excuse to play one of the greatest games of all time again, so what more do you want? For those who might not know, the original Shadow of the Colossus is one of the first games you need to show someone when they complain that video games can't be art. It's an absolute masterpiece of immersive gameplay crafted around a series of boss battles that are as challenging to play as they are breathtaking to behold. If you haven't played it before, there's absolutely no reason for you not to pick it up when it releases in February and experience what should be the definitive version of an all-time classic. Of course, if you have played it before, there's absolutely no reason for you not to pick it up when it releases in February and re-experience what should be the definitive version of an all-time classic. Number 4. God of War. Kratos is probably pretty far down the list of video game characters you'd expect to see struggling as a single parent, but that's exactly the brilliant and bold new direction that we seem to be headed in for the brand new God of War. Clearly intended as a kind of soft reboot for the franchise, Kratos has grown a beard, traded in Greek mythology for Norse, and picked up a son somewhere along the way. 3 massive life changes right there. We still know frustratingly little about the game, but it seems clear that the original's combo-based button-bashing chaos has been swapped out for a more focused, restrained approach to combat, and a new emphasis on storytelling. Imagine The Last of Us had a baby with the old God of War, and you're on the right lines. If that doesn't sound like the best thing ever to you, then you are wrong. The true identity of Kratos Jr. has provided an interesting debate among fan theorists since the game was announced at E3 2016, and there are sure to be plenty of twists and turns on this particular journey. We'll get our answers on April 20th. Number 3. Marvel's Spider-Man. Gamers famously seem unable to agree on most things, but one game we can all pretty much come to an understanding on is the excellent video game adaptation of Spider-Man 2, the first video game to let players loose on an open world New York City as the web-swinging wonder. That game was released back in 2004. Over the last decade and a bit, we've had some decent Spider-Man games, but nothing that's really come as close to capturing the essence of what it feels to be Spider-Man. Enter Marvel's Spider-Man, a PS4 exclusive that not only looks gorgeous, but already carries some serious pedigree thanks to the fact it's being worked on by Insomniac, the talented boys and girls behind the excellent Ratchet & Clank franchise, as well as the underrated Sunset Overdrive. Combat and movement look as fluid and smooth as you'd expect from Spidey, while the story promises to include a number of amazing villains and characters we haven't seen in the Spider-Man game before, including Mr. Negative and Miles Morales, the second Spider-Man. If Insomniac can work their usual magic, the Marvel Spider-Man has a serious chance of reclaiming the superhero game crown from the Batman Arkham franchise. Number 2. Days Gone. Hordes of zombies, an open world apocalyptic wasteland, and evil motorcycle gangs. PS4 exclusive Days Gone really does have it all. While we still don't know a great deal about this grim and gritty survival game, it seems to be a subtle combination of 2 other stellar PlayStation exclusives, taking the bleak story and presentation of The Last of Us and mixing it with the open world design and varied approach to combat offered in Horizon Zero Dawn. If it manages to be even half as good as either of those games, it should be pretty damn good. But what helps Days Gone really stand apart from the several thousand other zombie games out there is the way the flesh-eating pests attack in massive, and we mean massive, groups. These aren't just handfuls of clickers thrown in for a few jump scares, these are intense hordes that move as one, all clambering over one another for a slice of your hot pink flesh. You'll scramble to use whatever resources you have at your disposal to fight them off, which should make for some truly engaging set pieces. Days Gone is, apparently, currently in the testing and polishing phase of development, so should be with us before the end of 2018. Number 1. Red Dead Redemption 2. Could it ever have been anything else? Ever since Rockstar blew away gamers everywhere with their open world western epic in 2010, we've waited the better part of a decade to get back in the saddle and cause some mischief. While the plot is mostly shrouded in mystery, we do know we'll be following outlaw Arthur Morgan and the Van der Linde gang as they brawl, drink and steal, with the vast heartland of America once again serving as the stunning backdrop for our misadventures. Red Dead Redemption remains one of the finest games of all time, so if the team at Rockstar can do what they did before, with more content and even shinier visuals, then it's fair to say they'll have yet another hit on their hands. In addition to all the gunfights, horseback chases and side missions for the fans, there's also a mysterious new online multiplayer experience. While we don't know exactly how this will work, it's a safe bet that whether you're after fun with friends or a deep single player experience, Red Dead Redemption 2 is going to deliver in spades. Look for it in the spring. What did you think of our list? Have your say in the comments below. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to the UNILAD Gaming channel for more.